Hi everyone, so in this video we're going to be looking at how to drive on motorways in the UK, and the purpose of these videos is to help others gain a greater understanding of what is involved when driving on a motorway. In the top left I've displayed the route that I'm taking, so I'm going to be travelling on the M60 motorway, joining at junction 21 in Chadderton, and I'm going to be exiting at junction 26 in Stockport. The junctions are passed along the way, they're going to be displayed in red. So the blue sign on the left, this signifies the start of the motorway regulations, and this now means that the maximum speed for a car is 70 miles an hour. We can see that the motorway joins as an extra lane, so this means that I don't have to give way to traffic on the right. So when joining the motorway, you should not cross the solid white lines, so I need to wait until the line on the right becomes broken. Now we can see the solid white line is broken on the right, so I now have the option to change lanes, and we can see the vehicle in front pulls into the left. So this is a great opportunity to enter lane 2 and to overtake the slow moving vehicles. So the road ahead is now clear in my lane, and it's my first opportunity to get up to 70 miles an hour speed limit. So remember that it's safer to have a clear view of the road ahead and drive at the speed limit rather than sitting behind a slow moving vehicle with a restricted view. So on the left we have a sign which is telling me that there's an additional lane joining from the left. I can also see that lane 1 is now clear, so I come back to the left lane. This is the normal driving lane. Up ahead I can see there's a slow moving vehicle in lane 1, so I continue to drive in lane 2 to overtake the slow moving vehicle. So lane 1 is now clear, so I move back into the left lane. So at this point it'd be a good idea just to explain what the different lanes mean. So I'm currently in lane number 1. So lane number 1 is the normal driving lane, and this is the lane we should normally be driving in. So we would use lane number 2 for overtaking vehicles in lane 1, and lane 3 for overtaking vehicles in lane 2. So there are no slow or fast lanes. All of the lanes have a speed limit of 70 miles an hour. The furthest lane to the left, this one is called the hard shoulder, and this one is for breakdowns and for emergencies only. You can see I'm now catching up with the vehicle in lane 1, so this is a brilliant example of when to use lane 2. So up ahead we can see the gantry signs. So this is giving us information about the direction that we're travelling and the different exits. So lane number 1 exits as a lane drop junction, and this means that it exits the motorway, and on the gantry sign it's saying it's going to Ashton. So I'm now in lane number 1 for where I'm heading, which is Stockport. You can also see the markings on the left are a lot shorter. So I'm gaining on the car in front, so I change into lane number 2 before the traffic behind reaches me. So if I change lane 2 late, the traffic behind will close the gap, and then I'll be stuck in lane 1. So it's very important to get out into lane 2 nice and early so you can overtake without the traffic behind catching up. So I'm overtaking the traffic now, and I've got a white car in the left, so I'm going to continue in lane 2 to overtake. I can also see a white van and a car travelling quite close behind it in lane 1. So again, I'm going to continue in lane 2. On the left we have some traffic. We've got 2 vehicles on the left. They're going to be joining into lane 1. And at this point I'm always aware that the vehicles joining in lane 1, they sometimes quite quickly change into lane 2, so it's something to be aware of. And up ahead we've got an extra lane joining on the left, so the motorway is becoming 4 lanes. Okay, so I know it's clear behind me at the moment, so my intention now is to think about getting back into the left lane. I'm staying out in lane number 2 because I can see on the gantry signs, I can see a separation in the direction signs, and what this means is lane number 1 is becoming a lane drop junction, and this one is going towards Denton. So I'm going to stay in lane number 2 to go to Stockport, and it then becomes lane number 1 to Stockport, and the furthest lane on the left is the lane drop junction to Denton. So it's absolutely fine to be in this lane at the moment because I'm going to Stockport. And again, you can see the road markings on the left. They're a lot shorter than the lane separation markings on the right. Again, we've got the gantry signs up ahead. So the exit is going off there on the left to Denton, so I'm continuing to Stockport. Again, I'm just continuing to drive in the normal driving lane. So whenever there's a slit road going off, we can anticipate there will be a slit road entering on the left. So at this point I need to be aware of what's behind me so that I have the option to change lane if there's anything joining. However, there is nothing joining from the left, so I can continue in lane number 1. It's also important to have a check of the left door mirror just in case anything is coming up on the left side that I haven't seen. So I'm continuing in lane number 1. So my speed is about 65, it's saying. So my speed is now 65, and you can see my speed limit is gradually beginning to get slower. And the reason for this is because I know there is a speed limit change up ahead, and the speed is reducing to 50 miles an hour. So rather than overtaking and having to brake harshly, I'm already starting that process of reducing my speed. So I can see now the speed limit is just coming into view, and it's a 50 miles an hour maximum speed limit. I now have to be aware of my distance to the vehicle in front. So if I pause it here, we can see that the vehicle in front is underneath the gantry sign. So I need to keep a distance of 2 seconds to the car in front. So a good way of doing this is to say the phrase "only a fool breaks the 2-second rule." It takes about 2 seconds to say this phrase. So when the vehicle in front reaches the gantry sign, I need to say the phrase and finish the phrase before I reach the gantry sign. Only a fool breaks the 2-second rule. So I've been able to say the phrase at the same time I reach the gantry sign, which means I have a safe minimum distance of 2 seconds. So whenever you're following a vehicle, that's a phrase you can continually say to yourself just to make sure that you've got a 2-second gap to the vehicle in front. If it was raining, we'd increase that gap to 4 seconds, so you'd have to say that phrase twice. Okay, so we've got Bredbury coming up as the next exit, so that's junction 25. And then up ahead we have the gantry signs for Stockport. So whenever exiting the motorway, we should aim to be in the left lane by the half-mile sign. So we can see Stockport is now half a mile. So it makes sense to continue in lane number 1 because I know that the exit is coming up. I don't have enough room to overtake the vehicle in front and get back in the left. I can also see that there's 2 vehicles in front of the van in front. So I'm now looking for the countdown markers to exit the motorway. So we can see the first one on the left here. So this one represents 300 yards to the exit of the motorway. And this is a good time to do your mirrors and signal check before you exit. Okay, we've then got a national speed limit sign. So this means that the speed limit is changing to 70 miles an hour for cars. And we can also see that the solid white line has broken on the left, and this means that we can exit the motorway at this point. And this is the point where you would slow down. It's really important not to brake too late or accelerate too heavy, because it's a downhill slit road, so it's going to take a lot longer to stop. So on the exit to the motorway, you will see a sign that means the end of the motorway, and whenever you get to the end of the motorway, you will also have a new speed limit sign. So I hope this video has been helpful, and please subscribe if you'd like to see more motorway videos in the future, and thanks for watching.